Hello and welcome to the 18th video in the PHP e-commerce series. My name is Curtis with Free Skills, and in this video we are going to try to finish up the products page. We may have to split this up into a few videos. We'll see. I did try to shoot this video last night. It did not go well, so hopefully it goes a lot better for me tonight. I had a migraine last night and I couldn't think. But tonight I have a Dairy Queen Mocha Mou Latte, and I don't eat or get drinks from Dairy Queen often, but this is very good, so I'm feeling pretty good about this video, feeling pretty good about my drink. So anyway, let's get this on. What we want to do is be able to edit our products. Right now, if I click add product, we have added this variable right here, and it takes us to this form. Now I don't want to recreate this form for editing, so what I want to do is I want to be able to click this and it take us to the same form, but we want the values to be pre-populated with the values in our database. Okay, so we're just going to kind of go through the form and make changes as necessary. One thing that I want to add to make it a little easier for us to go back and forth is I want to add a cancel button here that basically just takes us back to the product overview list here, and we'll do the same thing. We'll use that cancel as well on the edit. So let's go ahead and look at our code here, and in our admin area we're going to go ahead and open up products.php, and I think the best thing to do is just to kind of get started with showing the form when we click edit. And right now we have this check right here that shows the form if the variable of the get variable add is set. Then we show the form. If not, then we show the table with all of our products. In order to show the form on the edit as well, we just simply need to add another check here. We're going to use or is set $_get edit. Okay, and so what that's going to do for us is, once I refresh the page, is if I hit add product it shows us the form, but if I hit edit product it shows us the form as well. Now it doesn't automatically populate these values, and in fact if we submit right now it's going to add a new product, and we don't want that behavior. We actually want to edit the product that we have. So let's go ahead and add our cancel button just to kind of get going on this. Just kind of start with the easy stuff and work our way to the more complex stuff. But right here at the bottom of our form we have an input of submit here, and what I want to do is right before that input I'm just going to add a link here, and we'll just link that to products.php, and we'll give it a class, and we're going to give it a button class, button, and we'll do button default. Okay, and what we're going to do is just put cancel in there. And the other thing that we need to do, well, before let's just see what it looks like. I'm gonna have to make a change here. Here's our cancel button and our add product button, which is what we want if this cancel button does take us back, but it doesn't look very good. So in order to fix that, all we have to do is this class that we added on the submit button right here, this form control, let's just get rid of that. And now when we save it, the buttons are going to be in line. Say we just have cancel and add product right there next to one another. Okay. But the other thing I noticed right away is that when I edit a form, I don't want to say add a new form here. I actually just want to say or add a new product. I want it to say edit product, and my button I also want it to say edit product as well. So let's go ahead and take care of those really simple things really quick. And at the top of the form here we have an H2 that says add a new product. So what I want to do is right here I'm going to get rid of add a new, and in its place we're going to go ahead and do echo out with PHP, and we'll add a ternary operator here. Alright, and what I want to do is say if is set $_get edit, then what I want it to do? Well, then I want it to say edit product, and if not, I want it to say add a new product. So if I save that, go back and refresh the page now, it says edit product. If I cancel and hit add a new product, it says add a new product. We're going to use the same logic on the submit button. So let's just go ahead and take care of that really quickly. Right here on the submit button in the value, we can just get rid of this add right here. And in its place, we'll do a PHP echo, and we'll use a ternary operator again. Okay. And what I want to do is check for, again, we'll just check if is set $_get edit. And if it is set, then what we're going to do is we're going to put edit product. If it is not set, then we're going to put add product. Okay. If I refresh the page here, we're on add, so it still says add. I cancel that and hit edit. Now it says edit product. There's another problem though, and that's the form, where it's being submitted to. So if I look at view the page source here, and we look at the form, we can see that the action right here is set to products.php, and it's got the add equals 1. And we don't want that when we're editing a product. We only want that if we're adding a product. And so we actually just need to do a ternary operator in the form action as well to make sure that we're submitting the form back to the same place. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to the top of the form here. One thing we haven't done, let's grab our edit ID. So that's pretty easy to do. And up here at the top of the page, right here we have this is set. What we want to do is, like, above checking for if post is set, what we're going to do, and we're inside of this if block here, we're going to do another check, and what we're going to say is if is set, we're going to say $_get edit. And what we want to do is we're going to say if is set $_get, we're going to say edit ID is equal to, and we'll cast this to an integer here, so we'll say $_get edit. Okay. So what this is going to do now is it's going to take our value from our edit and assign it to this edit ID. So now we know that edit ID. Now we have to know that to change our form action here. So right here in a form action, add equals 1 is fine no matter what we're adding, because we're just adding a product to the database. But when we go to edit, we need that ID to not change. So let's go ahead and get rid of this add equals 1 now, and we're going to replace that with an echo statement, and we're going to do a ternary operator once again. And what we're going to check for is if is set $_get edit. Okay, if that is set, what I want to do is I want to echo out edit equals, and then we're going to concatenate on edit ID. Okay, if edit's not set, then we just want to say add equals 1. Alright, so if I save that now and we refresh the page, if I view page source now, what should be is in the form, in our action, now it says products.php, and then we're passing our get variable here, edit equals 1. If I change products and I go to say this one, we should have edit equals 4 if we did that correctly. So if I go back to page source here and look at products, you can see that edit equals 4. What this will do is when we post the changes that we're editing, it's going to make sure that it's passing back the same edit ID, and that's important because we don't want to edit a product that we're not intending to edit. Alright, so kind of an easy concept, I understand, but we might as well just go ahead and do a check really quick for adding a new product and make sure that that's still correct. So I'm on adding a new product, and I'm just going to go to page source and look at the form action here, and you can see that it is indeed add equals 1. So we're all good and square and ready to go now. So what I want to do is continue to build in the variables. Now keep in mind that a PHP, unless you're doing object-oriented, and even then, a PHP file executes from top to bottom. So it runs this line of code, and then it runs this line of code, and then it runs this line of code, and so forth and so on. So we need to set up something, and basically what we need to do is we need to set up all of our variables at the top above edit, and then reassign those variables if, you know, basically because we're using the same form in two places, we have to do a couple checks on each one of these variables and these values. Okay, so right here above parent query, what I want to do is I want to say title, and what we're going to do is do a ternary operator here. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to know if post has been set. Okay, so of course we're going to say if is set $_post, okay, and that was title. If that is set, and $_post of title is not equal to a blank string, then what do we want to do? Well, we want to set this variable equal to sanitize. We want to sanitize it, and what we're going to do is say $_post title. Okay. Now, if it isn't set, or if it's a blank string, then we're just going to set it to a blank string. That way we don't have any undefined variables. So now what I can do is I can go down here inside of our form, and right here in title we can look at the value, and we can get rid of our ternary operator here from the last video, and we could just pass it in the title variable here. So now if I go back to the page here, and let's just go to edit here, we have a blank string here, but what I want to check for is if I type a title in and I post that, well, then we get title back in here. And don't worry about the rest of these undefined index. We're going to take care of all that as we go. So the other thing that I want to do though is I want to pre-populate this with the value from the database. Okay, so what we can do is back at here in the top of the page, we've already kind of started this check. Let's see, scroll over. We started this check right here, this if is set get edit, and we can actually, we're going to go ahead and run an SQL statement here, and I'm just going to say product results equals, and then let's go ahead and do this all in one line here. We got database query, and what I want to query is select all from products where ID is equal to, and then we're just going to pass it in the edit ID. Okay, so then what we can do is we can do set product here, and we can set that equal to my SQLi fetch a sock, and I'm going to pass it in the product results. Okay, kind of long variable names there, and it probably makes sense to camel case this if you want, or use underscores, whatever your preference there. But now what I can do is I can actually set title here equal to product title. Okay, and where that's coming from is in the database. We got product title here. So now once I save that and I go back and refresh the page, you can see that test is here now. If I cancel that, we go to dress, you can see that dress is there. And if I delete that out of there and hit edit product, then what's going to happen is, well, post is blank, so it's not going to allow that to be a blank, so we get, hey, the fields it's required. Okay, so we can actually do a check for that as well. So what we can do is we can actually use a ternary operator here as well. And if it's on edit and there is a post, what we can say is, let me just finish this out so I don't lose my place. But what we can say is, if is set $_post. Okay, if that is set and its title and it's not it's not empty, then $_post title. If it's not empty, then we want to use sanitize. Again, we always want to sanitize any kind of user input so they don't put nasty stuff in our database, or cause any kind of data loss or anything like that, just malicious people. So, and then if it is a blank string, what we're going to do is we're going to put the value of the database in there. So let's check that now. Okay, we can see that that is populated. If I get rid of that now and hit edit, okay. The reason that we're getting this problem with, when I go to products and we edit one, and what happens is it's not repopulating here, and that's because this title is being set before this one. And so what we got to do is we need to move this title here outside of this, and we're going to add it up here. We're still inside this is set, add, and edit deal here, but what we're going to do is start populating these above that. Okay, and that is because it needs to happen before this check happens. Okay, so we can we're going to continue with brand, and brand will be easy as well. So let's just go ahead now and get rid of that, and we're going to turn this into a ternary operator right here. Okay, and what I can do is, look, it looks like this. It's going to be the same as before. Is set $_post, this time brand. Okay, and then and not empty, and then we'll do $_post brand. Okay, so if all that is true, then what we want to happen is this whole sanitize here, whoops, we want to print that. If that is not true, then we're just going to have a blank string. Okay, and then right here after this title, we're going to go ahead and we'll copy this entire thing here. We're going to do a lot of copying and pasting now because we don't need to rewrite this every time. But what we're going to do is change this to brand, 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 basically changing every instance to brand here. So now if I go down in the form and find brand, which is right here, we are going to have to do something just a little bit different, and that is just this check right here. This is set. We don't need to do the is set anymore, but we need to know if this post brand So what we're going to do is get rid of everything from here to here, and what we want to say now is brand. And this won't quite work because we've got two variables named the same thing, and this was set up in the last video, and I apologize for how we have to change a lot of things, but I just wanted to make a little sense why we're doing this. So all I need to do is reestablish this here as B, and then BID and B brand. So if brand, so that's going to return an integer. If that is equal to the brand ID, it's going to echo selected out inside of that option, which will make that one selected. And the check we need to do for the empty one is get rid of the, we'll get rid of all of this, and we're just going to say if brand is equal to a blank string, then select the blank one. So now, if we go back and refresh the page, cannot use is set on result or an expression null line 98. Of course, I didn't get rid of the is set, so that just needs to be gone. Yep. So that's just, I didn't delete enough things there. Sorry about that. So now we can see that brand is now selecting the correct brand. If we cancel, we check another one, we got Levi's. So we know that that's working. But what happens now if I change this and hit edit? Well, what should happen, so let's go back and look at we didn't change this right here. That needs to be B as well for the values. Okay. So try it one more time. We got Levi's. If I change it, hit Nike, you see that the post value stays. Skechers, if it's blank, it goes back to Levi's because that's what's in the database. So that's acting as expected. Now the parent is going to be identical to the way we just did brand. So what we can do is we're just going to copy these. So right here we're going to copy this brand, and we're going to change that to parent. Change each one of these instances to parent, and then we'll copy this line here to reset it, and just need to change this to parent, and I can control double click all these, and I can change them all to parent in one go like that. Alright, so that's looking good. So we just need to change our check down here in the form again, and right here that we did the same thing in the last video, so we need to change this to just P, and then all these instances of parent we're just going to change to P here. Okay. So for our empty string, we can just get rid of everything, all of that, and what we're going to do is check for if parent is equal an empty string, then the empty value right here is going to be selected. And then in our while loop, we're going to make the values the IDs of the parent, and then here we're also just going to do a check, so we're going to get rid of all of this back to the is set here, and what we're going to check is parent equal to the parent ID. If it is, it's going to add, and this should say selected, not select. Typo on my end, so if you saw that, good job. And then what it's going to print out here is P category, not parent category. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and make sure we did that correctly. Get line 17. Okay, So we need to get the parent product from the database based upon the child product. And so what we can do now is we can just, let's go ahead and create our category variable, because we can use this later and now. So what we're going to do is, if we're going to do a ternary operator, and we're going to say is set $_post category, and let's go and look at our form and make sure that's correct. So we're looking for our child right here, and we actually call that child. So we're going to change that to child. If that is set, and $_post child does not equal blank string, then we're going to sanitize $_post child. Okay. Or what we're going to do is return product, and in the database that is called categories. Okay, on my database. So right here we have this categories. That's what we want. That's our child ID. So now that we have that set, we might as well set that up here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put category equals is set $_post child. Okay, and not empty $_post child. Then sanitize, and we could have copied and pasted all this and saved us some time here. Sanitize $_post child. Okay, and then we do a blank string if that's not true. Alright, so now we actually need to, since we know the child, we need to find what category the parent is. Okay, so what we need to do is down here in this, we only need to do it in the get here, but let's see, it has to be after, right? So right here, before we did that parent, which we're going to get rid of most of that, we need to run a query, and we're just going to call it parent results. That's fine. And we're going to say db query. Well, what's our query? It's select all from categories, that's the table in the database, where ID is equal to category. So what that's going to do is give us the actual child. It's going to return the child element, and I'm going to rename this right here to parent query just so this makes sense. And then I'm going to say parent result is equal to MySQLi fetch. We can use row here because row is going to just expect one row, and that's fine. And then we'll pass it in parent query. Alright, so now what we have is parent result, and right here where we have this, we can put parent result, and we could pass it in the parent ID. Okay, so parent will not be an undefined index now of this, hopefully. So let's take a look at that. I know that's a little bit confusing. It's kind of a roundabout way. Unexpected parent query. Alright, 19. That's because we have this weird character here, I think. There we go. Alright. So we have an undefined variable category on line 11 and an undefined index parent on line 21. What is going on here? Let's just go ahead and change this to a sock. That gets rid of that, and then undefined variable category on line 11. Okay, what's happening is this parent query we've also used up here. So I'm doing a horrible job naming things. So we're just going to get rid of parent query and name that parent Q, so that our query is still intact for that later while loop. There we go. So that's working. So we can just test a few of these. All right, that's working. We're going to go ahead and end the video for tonight, and I will in the next video take care of the child category, price, list price, and see if we can finish up this form. So I know it's getting long. This product is just a little bit complex, so it'll take us a few videos to get through it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.